Oh yeah.
And I'm gonna try
one, bam.
No, that
1, 2. Welcome to the Friendly Geordies podcast. We've missed you guys. Last week was terrible. We had withdrawals, but unfortunately we couldn't do the pod because Jordan was touring and I was with him. And Miss Love decided that he doesn't think that you're worthy enough for a one-man podcast.
You didn't tell me to do it. I would have done it. You didn't tell me.
Could you do a Monday morning with Bill Burr or a Tim Dillon style
Yeah,
pod?
I'd definitely
Easily.
do it.
But this is what it would be. It'd be him staring at the mic, looking at the laptop. Every now and then someone would be like, "You're getting fat, Miss Love. You're getting shut up." That'd be the show.
No, wouldn't I could do a build-up like, the thing with Boston is, it's fucking changed. They say it hasn't changed, but Boston's changed, okay? You used to be able to get one of those fucking small Italian-style coffees. It's all fucking Starbucks now. Every place. And I know it's all becoming Starbucks, but it's more Starbucks, okay?
Yeah.
I could do that.
Oh, Bill, I got one of those small coffees the other day on 33rd Street. Yeah, you're missing my point. 33rd Street used to be every street, dickhead.
Yeah, I could do that. I could do that.
All right, look, let's start with... we'll keep that for Christmas Eve because that's the next Tuesday. So
Right,
you're going
right.
to do a solo pod on
Okay.
You
Christmas
do that
Eve.
to sit in pressure to Bill Burr for
Yeah,
an
for
hour.
2 definitely.
Everyone would love it.
Yeah, I'd do
What
it.
a great gift. And on top of that, he does look like Bill Burr.
Yeah, I basically am Bill Burr.
He's more squinty Bill Burr.
Okay, first segment. Okay, this is a developing story, but rumors are surfacing that Justin Trudeau is about to resign.
Why?
Damn.
I thought he was getting voted out.
Well, he's
this is
about to
gonna
get voted
age
out, too.
badly. Huh?
He's about to get voted. I think they're about to pull off a
They're gonna coup him.
Australia special, which is we're about to lose this election. Let's see what happens if we change the leader.
That old
The Australian
thing.
special.
The old thing.
Look, I think we've all learned over and over again, yeah, it is worth changing your leader. No, you are not going to win the next election if you do it.
Yeah.
Dude,
You're just going to save some seats.
oh my
Hasn't he
God.
been- hasn't he
have
been
you
in for-
have you guys heard? If you think Albo is getting the heat, man, Justin Trudeau.
About what?
this man
About
is
what's happening? What's
well.
the hate?
Again, it's the same thing as like the Trump. Like the woke left has gone crazy. They are giving trans. I don't know what their reasons are. And look, I'm not a Canadian. Maybe there are some legitimate economic issues over there that I'm unaware of. But it seems to me that the Canadian public has made up their mind that Justin Trudeau is going off.
Hasn't he been
the
in for
other
like
guy who's-
20 fucking years?
Yeah, which is true. Not 20 years. I think he's been there since 2013 or 14.
When's the next election? Surely it's like 3 years away.
No, it's next year.
How short are their terms? It's like 2 years.
No, dude, I think it's like 5
What are you
years.
talking
I
about?
swear
Long.
he's won like 3 elections.
I don't know.
And I
Yeah.
swear that halfway through another election, he had an election, and so he's got more time.
I don't know. I just thought he was like I thought he couldn't not win.
No, dude, he's
No,
about to get
He's
slaughtered.
He's never really had like a convincing win except for the first one.
Oh.
Yeah, except for the first one. The last one was pretty close. In fact, like I was looking at the Canadian political system. You know that okay, so here's the difference. In Canada, the smaller parties, the minor parties that will eventually make a kingmaker are mostly left-wing parties. So in terms of the majority of the population, I think 38% of the people in Canada vote for the Conservative, the Conservative Party. And I think 33% vote for the Liberals, which is the Justin Trudeau Party. So even in the ones that Justin Trudeau has won, he's actually received less votes than their opponents, but the rest of the other parties end up supporting them.
Right.
So, but it seems like this time around, the Conservatives are going to win by a much bigger margin, which means that there's no way that the Liberals can come back in.
Damn.
And what about the Bloc Party? What are their chances?
What are they?
Just that weird French-Canadian party that I think their entire party is like, we want to secede. You're never going to get enough votes for it. I know. I think that you should be
Such a stupid fucking argument. It'll be good for the economy.
Yeah.
Dude,
We speak a different language. Is there any other reason? I'll think of some other.
I've got time. I'm in parliament.
And I'm not going anywhere. Look. With an
Le-
annoying little Q. Le Bleu.
do you think it's time for Justin to go?
do you mean is the time adjusted?
It's been a while, bro.
Yeah, I think that he should have. Look, honestly, I think
Le Bloc.
the best thing that you can do as a prime minister in that situation is just step down and move on. And all the time, I'll always say, I don't ever think that that's particularly fair. Politics is a brutal game.
But I think
when
Justin-
the public makes up their mind, they make up their mind. And look, it is bullshit. It is bullshit.
He should have gone some time ago.
Huh?
He is a bit of a man-eating tiger. He's smelt the taste of blood, and by blood I mean power. And it's really hard to give up power, dude. In fact, which is why I think Joe Biden deserves some credit. It is a very, very difficult
Noble.
thing
Yeah.
for someone to give up power like
Yeah.
that. You have to be kicked out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it would have been better if Justin did it, but he's not unique in this regard.
But,
No,
what,
Christ, no, no one's
but
give up.
what was the big shift from we love this guy and we're going to vote him in 3 times in a row to fuck this guy?
Cost of living.
Yeah, it's all just happened.
Immigrants is a big thing in Canada. In fact, like even Canada is doing similar stuff to us, which is they're really putting Justin Trudeau himself has tried to reduce the immigrant numbers. The problem is like these sort of policies eventually show results a few years after. So he's still getting a lot of shit for the immigrant stuff.
Right.
But it's the same thing as everywhere. It's the immigrants plus cost of living.
Yeah, but can't they not do that much about the cost of living?
Yeah, but I don't think people care.
Right.
People don't care. People are dickheads.
People are friendly Geordies. People are dickheads.
They are. They really are. Like, really, it should be. I really don't understand how you can do anything about that in democracy, but you should be able to make a basic distinction, like in here, right? Where it's like, one party cut your taxes for you. Biggest tax cut in a generation. They also gave you massive energy rebates. They also gave you wage increases. They also cracked down on supermarkets. The other party did none of these things. In fact, they blocked all of them, and then you look at the public's perception, and they're like, yeah, Dutton will do a better job. Why? I don't know, he seems to whinge about it a lot.
Well, actually, on this point, on this point, let's pivot to Dutton. Latest poll shows that a majority of Australians now think that the country is headed in the wrong path
Shit. Wait, with Albo.
with Albo in power. Now, Peter Dutton has come out with his nuclear energy proposal. Because let's be...
And that's the right
'cause
path.
He's come out with like a couple of things. One of them is
Nuclear.
is kind of dumb. I don't know. Like again, the flag stuff, dude. Like if you really think, how is that going to solve cost of living? I'm not going to stand in front of. So I'm not even going to bother
It's
with like.
incredible running on a platform, changing flags.
And
This
then,
is the world.
And then getting schooled that you're the dumper, you don't understand. Read the room. It's like, okay, sorry, I forgot the flag was the reason for all our problems. But let's move on.
Again, Miss Love.
And,
What? I'm not saying I'm just listening. Just listening.
okay, tell me why the flag is
I know,
more
I'm
important
not
than
saying-
Nah, he is.
I'm not.
He was saying it with his eyes.
This is
See?
a paranoid
Now that
man.
right there.
How come
Paranoid.
Silent
How come
Australia.
how come they don't get into trouble for like, this bullshit culture war shit? How come it's always like Labor too woke, not focusing on the issues, always focusing on the fluffy stuff? What are you going to do? I'm going to get rid of the Indigenous flag.
I know.
And no one's being like, hey, what the fuck? That's also equally dumb.
Yeah, it's just because they've always been like that, so it's expected.
Yeah, it's just going to be... And
No, it's not even just because it's expected. It's just because there is no media ecosystem to point out that that's dumb. So the whole
Sure.
media ecosystem is sitting there saying, he's changing the flag. Let's talk about that for weeks on end.
Yeah.
I think Batuta might have done a bit, but other than that, I haven't seen anyone just be like, this is just the dumbest thing. Okay, let's talk about the non-dumb thing, which is non-dumb. The nuclear policy. Did you read that? They finally released the budget. They're saying it's going to cost around $300 billion, which most energy experts in the field are saying is bullshit in itself.
Yeah.
And the other problem, the biggest problem with this nuclear thing is the I don't know how much this is being talked about, is that if we do exactly what Peter Dutton wants us to do, the energy bills are going to be high for the foreseeable future, the next couple of decades.
Yeah, for the next couple
Nuclear
of decades.
energy isn't cheap.
Jeez.
This
And
is
it's so
almost-
good. They're sitting there saying that just $300 energy rebate. That's pretty shocking during the cost of living crisis. Okay, how are you going to solve the cost of living crisis? By increasing everyone's energy bill by $700. Okay, so you're denying them the $300. So you've raised it $1,000.
Right.
You've raised it $1,000
Have they said that
by their estimates, which means it'll be higher.
Have they said if they
And the only reason why you want to do it is nuclear. It's kind of cool. I'm proud of it.
if they
Isn't that the bottom? Isn't that the actual reason?
Yeah, I think so. Well, that's
don't
definitely
know.
why like Reddit autists are into it. They're just like, it's hardest to so much power when you That's the reason that they think it's good.
if they get elected, are they saying that like this is our policy, or they're saying we'll consider this?
No.
that's
They're
their
saying this
policy.
is our
They're going
policy.
full scale.
Aside from the flag,
Right,
Flag
right.
and
Two
just
pillars.
putting in a bunch of nuclear
Damn.
power plants.
I don't think that they should bring nuclear into Australia.
Damn.
well,
saying
if
that.
it
I don't
was
think
some
so.
kind of okay,
But that flag does give me the shit.
unlike Jordan. Okay, I'll admit this. Unlike Jordan, I am not universally opposed to nuclear energy. Okay, but what I do want is for the energy grid to be stable, which is something that nuclear can bring. I also want, obviously, low carbon emissions, which is also something nuclear can bring. But I also want the energy to be affordable and not kill us all.
Not kill us all.
So, like, okay, if you're saying, I'll believe you. Some people, I don't know, I'm not an expert in this field. People say, okay, nuclear, all of these Fukushima and, these Chernobyl, these are older technology. We really can make it fail safe.
Yeah.
I don't know the research in it, so I'm not going to pretend to. Maybe I'll say I'll agree with you. Okay, let's say that is true. You still have to make it cheaper, dude.
Yeah.
Like, you can't expect people to pay way more. And we've already invested so much money into renewables. Like, why are we throwing that away?
Yeah. And also, it's a
To
big
dump way more on
To pay
nuclear.
way
Yeah.
more. Like,
and it's also a big if to say that like they're not dangerous. It's like I feel like there's a lot of money pumped into think tanks that convince people that it's not, but it's like
Yeah, no, but as always, the think tanks have won that war.
Really?
No one gives a shit anymore.
Really?
Yeah, everyone's just decided that it's safe now. You can't win that argument,
That's wild.
isn't it?
It's like Fukushima wasn't that long ago, and there's from my understanding there is a lot it happens.
Well, so
quite-
You've triggered like half the audience now, but
Yeah.
like basically, let's just-
triggered by saying that.
yeah.
you
like,
have.
Sorry.
Yeah, you've absolutely, because I was just like, it's a newer generator, it's a newer generation
Right,
of generator,
right.
but it's just like, yeah,
No,
but
but
they
it-
build it without the safety features all the time
It-
to
Right.
save money.
So they say that Fukushima wouldn't be a problem because we're not building nuclear reactors
On a
that are
fault
that
line.
big.
Oh, right.
That are that big, right? These are
Right.
going to be smaller nuclear reactors that are safe. But the problem is, again, this is what I've read about it, is that the smaller ones will cost a lot more.
Right.
So we're just paying, and it will only be worth it maybe in like 20 years or something.
Yeah.
That too, if like nothing goes wrong,
Yeah.
Peter Dutton doesn't, or like Liberal Party doesn't change their mind and just be like, no.
I know Dutton's a liberal and a conservative, but like, why does he not like renewables? Is it that he legitimately thinks that it's not viable and it's not going to work?
No,
Then why?
it's purely because his donors
Right.
pretty much just basically the Liberal Party is more or less just run by Gina Reinhardt and a couple of other mining magnates,
Yeah, but yeah.
and they just want to keep digging out coal for as long as possible.
You need coal for nuclear?
No, they're using nuclear as a smoke screen to keep coal in the grid longer.
Gotcha.
Saying, oh, well, we're building nukes, so yeah, we've got to keep coal going. So
Right.
there's no room for renewables. No, we don't need that.
But the
There's a reason to scrap renewables.
But the irony is that like you still need coal with renewables as well. Like it's not like you can just switch coal off with like running renewables now.
yeah, but the whole thing is just keeping coal going on needlessly for decades. That's what they want to do. That's why.
Yeah, but you could
Whereas
argue
this
that
is
green
just phasing it
But
out.
you could argue that green renewables do that.
What?
Keep coal going.
No. Well, yeah. But it's all just about phasing it out. So if you just keep lying to the public and say, yeah, we're definitely going to be building nukes, which they won't, you can keep coal running and more of it being pumped into the grid than you can now, whereas like,
Right.
Labor has done incredible feats of installing renewables into the grid.
Making
I
it
think
more
we're now
effective.
up to already like 35% of the grid being renewable.
Really?
Miss,
We're like on target.
I was watching Jeff Bezos do a talk. these guys, these people that like, are, pro deregulation, keeping coal in, their ideas for like actually solving climate change are so far-fetched and idiotic. So Bezos says, I'm not making this up. Bezos says,
Fact checking.
Plan A is that we move all of our polluting industry out of Earth. That's why he wants to make that cock rocket, right? Supposedly. So that we can move all of our polluting industries into space.
Okay.
Right? On Mars or whatever.
Okay.
And we just keep all the clean ones on Earth. All right. Okay. Well, this is a fucking 100-year timeline minimum.
Right.
Okay. Then he says, Plan B, right? Let's say this doesn't work. Plan B is he's saying that we now have the resources to make the planet air conditioned.
What do you mean?
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the inventor of Amazon Prime.
What does that even mean, air
It
conditioning?
means that we live in like
People in
a
domes.
in a
bubble.
dome.
Yeah.
Like the Simpsons movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be the Simpsons movie.
And no one
But air
in the
conditioned.
audience, there were questions, and no one in the audience says, this all sounds great, but how about we just burn less coal and still be able to breathe?
Yeah.
I want to go for a walk in the bush, and I don't want to be in a dome.
Yeah.
Well,
And I also don't trust your stupid thing of you're going to move all of... You're just going to
yeah, that's
keep
plan
polluting.
A. That's plan A,
That's
by the
plan
way. He's got
A.
a backup plan. He's got a backup plan.
And then he says...
Just get big air conditioners.
And this man
Very
says...
Amazon
Jones.
idea, isn't it? It's like, and of course, Amazon will provide the air conditioners.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of course
yeah.
Amazon will be providing these air conditioners. And you can see our plan detailed right here. And then it's just Stephen King's The Dome. And it's just like, available on Amazon Prime. Dude, you know what?
That's fucking
I
funny.
do get the argument. Not his argument.
That's the
but-
best joke of today, all right? It's the best joke.
Oh, no, not
Sorry.
another one of those.
That was Merrick.
When I did a bad joke and he's like, yeah, that was great, Tim. Thanks, Merrick. Go back and watch that video to just watch me being insulted by my childhood hero for 3 hours.
And me laughing profusely.
Yeah. And him just being, he'd be like, yeah, that's right, Merrick. Get away from me. He was such an alpha, wasn't he?
He was.
Such an
You
alpha.
get the fuck off me, champ. I'm not a big fan of you either, champion. Anyway,
Yeah. But
go watch that. Best pod
Phil?
we'll ever do. Love that man. And my life peaked there. Go on.
you know what? I think Bill Maher kind of summed it up pretty damn well, where it was like, dude, we tried to do the how about we live like responsibly and, sacrifice just a little bit. And the world's response overwhelmingly was fuck you, And so I think we're kind of just left with, we're going to have to invent our way out of it.
You really?
Yeah, that's about it.
So
I
what?
think that's
So
what we've got.
Bezos is right.
No, I think that what probably is
This is
the
a-
right case. And guys, you're going to have to let me know if this is not true, but on skimming what he was talking about, I could see that there would be a billion holes in it. Maybe there's not, though. And I can imagine that maybe it is just like renewables and it is just getting to the point where we can get to like a decent level of like, carbon capture. I think that that's pretty much what we're going to have to do. We're just going to have to capture heaps of carbon from the atmosphere because no one's doing fucking anything.
Yeah,
The
but
EU's doing things.
Right.
The EU's doing things and China's
The
doing
sweat,
things.
it's
And
a-
Australia's doing things at the
It's
moment,
here.
but it's not enough.
It's here, bro.
Yeah.
We don't have time for new technological advances. I am old. Dude, it was so hot today.
But there are things like this isn't.
But air conditioned.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, we're not even in air conditioning. We don't have
we
an air
can't
Put a fan.
Yeah.
An overpriced fan.
Can you imagine?
Also, we
Let's be
don't.
honest, that Dyson was pretty shitty. We really should have just got a Fujitsu air conditioner for the same price.
We need aircon in here. It's a thing, but
Oh man, yeah, we'll get an air.
but just on okay. I know we're dooming and glooming, but just in terms of advancements, technological advances, this isn't anything to do with coal or.
Chat, let me know. Carbon capture, yay or nay?
Yeah.
Go on.
There's a few people. Someone said I believe in climate change 100%. But
Okay, well, that's very constructive. Thank you.
That's good start.
All right, there we go. See, all right, that's should have ended that conversation in the 90s, I think, but there we go.
but as an
This
engineer,
is what you're dealing with, Ale. Maybe we do have to go to the moon.
But as an engineer, it's incredible how intense water hydrogen energy is currently. Hydro, solar, and wind are the go, but need battery tech to move quicker.
Sick.
Oh, right, okay. I thought he was just saying, I believe in climate
Yeah,
change.
same. So I'm on your team.
Okay, yeah, all right, fair enough.
Carbon capture is greenwashing, according to Hacker 42013.
What's that mean?
Yeah, no, I am aware that it was greenwashing. I would like to know, is it continuing on to be greenwashing?
What's that?
Just basically the same thing as nuclear power. Oh, yeah, we've got this miracle technology that's going to solve all of the problems so we can keep polluting.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but I was just going to say real quick, there are cool advancements. Like, have you seen, like, there's strides in plastic alternatives.
Lanky Ned says, still not convinced a bit of extra CO2 is doing anything.
Is he serious?
Yes.
Might be serious.
His name's Lanky Nate. He's serious.
Lanky Nick.
I mean, Peterson would have you think that CO2 is good for the environment. I don't know his science.
Peterson.
He thinks it's good for the environment.
There's a lot of respectable there's a lot of respectable things about Peterson, and he said certain things, let's just say, at a time when they needed to be said. But that man has lost it.
Yeah, he has. He has.
I saw an interview of him with Elon Musk, where Elon Musk is saying that he needs surgery in his back, and Jordan Peterson, well, you've got to try the carnivore diet first. And he's like, no. I'm a big fan of meat, but I think this is like my C4 disc is like gone. Like I've scans. Like I think I need surgery. He's like, well, my wife said she needed surgery, but then she started eating steak.
Up the meat.
And you'd believe it's a miraculous recovery. And Elon's like, okay, look, we need to move on from this. She's like, okay, but don't knock it down till you try it. It's like, Peterson, come on.
It worked for him, but it doesn't mean.
And then, like, and if you don't agree with him, he starts crying.
Yeah, he cries
That's
a
the
lot.
other thing with him.
Have you considered
Cries a
putting a
lot.
frozen steak replacing for the dish? You could put a steak in there in your lower back.
It's called carnivore surgery.
You can learn at Peterson Academy. There's a very forward-thinking surgeon that has been decimated by the academy, but is very forward-thinking.
Crying.
The key is...
I don't know. I think my surgeon says that I need a kind of surgery.
Wait, listen to my plastics point, you cunts.
Oh, yeah. Okay, go on.
Can you not use the C word demonetized?
Well, sorry.
Yeah, it's too late now.
It's always fun having me on.
Yeah, it is.
Well, if you listened,
It's peppery.
if you listened, maybe I wouldn't have to swear. You know, there's leaps and bounds with plastic alternatives, and in terms of pollution, which is like
Destra.
Yeah.
no, there's someone created
damn.
this enzyme that eats plastics.
Yeah,
Have you seen that?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
isn't it?
So there are that in terms of a crazy technological advance, like that exists. I know that's got nothing to do with global warming really, but like that's cool.
Look, man,
there's a
honestly,
lot of cool shit.
Look, as long as
Australia is beating India. There's a lot of cool shit.
They came back.
as long as there's autistic men
Yeah.
that can never get laid, I feel like we're good. And the problem with getting rid of plastic out of the environment is it'll make less autistic men. But
True.
I
think there's enough, dude.
Yeah, there's enough. Hey, there's so many.
Like-
there's so many, but I think it honestly is sort of some sort of biological response. It is an evolutionary thing of like the environment's getting bad. We need more guys that can't get laid. That just sit there and be like, "Hey, I made a microplastic."
And that's happening
These
more.
chicks in Hollywood being like,
More guys are getting laid a lot less. Dude, the statistics are damning. Sorry, pivot, but just on that point.
Of course he knows about the sex statistics. Like
Dude,
boom.
the
Like
sex
that.
statistics. So in our generation,
care about
when we were uni, right? Uni,
Yeah.
there was
Uni.
38% of us at that age that were virgins. Today, the figure is close to it's between 50 and 60%.
Jesus.
yeah, that makes sense.
Why?
This is the internet.
Yeah.
And also, like, if you talk to Gen Z,
They're not all that bad.
yeah, but 60% of them are.
Maybe.
But what I'm
I haven't
trying to
talked
say is,
enough. I haven't talked enough.
as the environment gets worse, more and more people are virgin autistic. So maybe nature is trying to balance this shit out.
Holy.
That's what I'm saying.
Do you think that that's what it is? Oh my god.
Yeah, I think nature's balancing it out.
I suppose you're right.
Look,
That's a very crazy thought.
I'm kind of a bit optimistic about the future because I think that it's always the same. I know that one day we're going to roll the dice and it's going to come up snake eyes.
Yeah.
But generally, don't you think that the entire world is a history of humanity going into a crisis, some super artist figuring it out. We all revere him. It's just like, yeah, Einstein, fuck yeah, he's on a beer now, yeah. Like, and then you just
Not
keep going.
really.
And then we cancel him. Let's be real.
But,
And then we cancel.
but like World War II was a crisis. What are you calling Churchill a like autist genius?
I mean, yeah, but
Oh, okay.
also on top of that, you have Oppenheimer coming out and just ending war.
True.
altogether,
Okay, that's a
pretty
very.
much.
I forgot about that.
But
guy.
then that creates an even bigger problem.
Yes, yes.
And then I think that some artists will come up with some kind of time machine that can get us out of.
Damn, can you
I
imagine
think
that?
it's just it's the Red Queen effect. I think it's always just going to
What's
be
the
in
Red
that
Queen
crisis.
effect?
Huh?
What's that?
The Red Queen
These
effect is in
goddamn
evolution.
terms.
Antelopes get a little bit faster so that they could run away from jaguars. So jaguars get a little bit
Ah,
faster.
so it's just
so
the
it
lap
just keeps
sort of
going.
thing.
Like it's this the
Right.
Red Queen thing of the queen is just running on the same spot.
Can it be a hot tub time machine?
I don't see why not. Sounds sexy.
With that black dude who looks
Thought
like Bernie
saving
Mac.
The world would get results. But let's be honest, if an artist is inventing it, it's not going to be sexy.
You know, it'd be really funny if the artist
Hey,
was just like, there's only one catch. He's like, is a strange fault in my equation, but the only way to travel back is to have sex in the hot tub. And of course, I'm not suggesting it has to be me, but I mean, I did invent said machine.
Jordan, but here's a hole in your argument.
He puts that little
All
red
right, you
herring.
have sex with Gina Reinhardt. No.
Here's a hole in your argument, Jordan. Kyber132 says, well, what does autistic even mean at this point?
Yeah, you're right. It just means
There's-
men.
There's a very simple.
That's what it means.
No, there's a very
Every
factual
man
explanation.
except Miss Love. Yeah. But that's again because
Autistic
Miss Love
is
isn't
a-
a man; he's a woman.
I mean, autistic is a very definable term.
Yeah. Go on.
I don't know the science, but someone that is deficient and broken. Physiologically, as a result.
That's a very ableist
behavior-wise.
comment that you've made. Deficient, or you mean
Dude, that was
extra
such
efficient?
if that is in the Oxford Dictionary, that would have to be the harshest definition.
It's I mean,
word.
I'm sorry,
You're
but
autistic, just deficient and broken.
I mean, the long and short of it. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but it's very definable. It's a spectrum, but the spectrum
The
exists.
spectrum exists.
Jordan, a flying headbutt says, disagree with Jordan. Great man history is a fallacy that creates false narratives.
What's
You
it?
reckon? Why?
Yeah, why?
Oh, that was just a comment.
No, but tell us why. Why do you
right.
say that?
A flying headbutt, respond to us and tell us why.
Yeah, flying headbutt.
Seemed like
Sound
a learned man.
man.
Literally said the same thing.
Ryan says,
The crazy thing is, in like
Flying
50 years, that will be Professor's name. It's like, Professor Flying
Yeah.
Headbutt?
Yeah.
It will be.
My name's Professor Buttface.
I made it as an email in 2050, and I obviously had to change my
Prefer
name
to be called
on
that.
account of the law, which was instituted, where everyone's name is their email, their first email. The man, will you?
Miss,
come
you've
up
got a message of support. Someone says, I'm literally an autist. I am very deficient.
There you
Keep
go.
it up, buddy.
Keep it up, buddy.
Okay, my history knowledge is lacking, but I'm not sure humanity has faced such an existential threat and had the solution being actively blocked by so many incredibly powerful people. I disagree with it. I think
No, that's true. Like, yeah, we haven't faced
No,
such an existential
there's been
threat.
climate
That's
changes
definitely
before.
true.
There was literally ice ages, bro. That was
Yeah, but they weren't
humanity.
existential. Oh, no, okay. One of them, yes. There
Dude,
was
if you live
when
in
we were, like,
Canada,
cavemen.
if
Yeah.
you live in Canada, climate change not that big of an issue. You got plenty of water. You'll still be
Scotland
safe.
would be sick.
Certain areas that were like really snowy and difficult to live with, or in fact, like become. A little
Is Australia in trouble with that?
Dude, so
No, we're fine.
we are literally red.
hint
Let's
of
move on to another subject.
Hint of sarcasm. in
On
the-
this scale, miss, we are on red.
Hey, bring up the chart.
Shout out to the Up Late podcast. Make sure that you sign up.
Why doesn't that chart exist? Like that should exist. Like the countries that are in serious trouble with climate. That
Dude,
probably
they-
does
it
exist.
does exist,
Right,
and Australia
right.
is
Hot.
Really?
the one of the
Think about
worst
it.
countries for water scarcity. They said
What?
that in 50 years, Australia, India, certain parts of sub-Saharan Africa, Middle East will have serious water deficiencies. Canada is one of the only places which will still be extremely water rich, even in that era.
Because water is the future.
So what I'm saying is that ice ages were an existential threat if you were in an area where it really affected you badly.
Fuck.
The difference now and then is, it's not that humanity has never faced, dude, we almost died out so many times for different reasons. The difference is, first of all, this amazing thing that we know, well, at least most of us know, that why this issue is being caused. For most of reality, for most of history, we never understood why things were happening. We just had to accept it as God's fate, and and just die out.
Some of us still do,
but some of us, and it is shameful that even today, where we have the superpower of knowing why these problems are being caused, some of us still refuse to accept it. It's a shame, and your ancestors would be disappointed in you. Secondly, this is the half thing, is that for the first time in humanity, we might actually have the capability to do something about it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's what makes it unique. Not that we haven't had these.
Is Trump this in the same boat as Dutton? He has super PACs and he has donors.
Yes.
Right.
Of course. Like, onto a much scarier degree.
I just feel like the thing with Trump is, it's like, he's all the things everyone knows he is. He's not perceptive and he's probably got ADD, but is he? I don't think he's dumb, right?
Yeah.
So if someone just showed him like a graph and was like, I know everyone's paying you all this money, but like, it's right here. Like, you can say that I'm paid by this person, but like, I promise that this is like very agreed upon. Like, I just want you, there's no one in the room. I'll never say, like, I'll never tell anyone, but like, does this not concern you? What would he say?
You know what Trump's greatest superpower is? Just on that, Trump's greatest superpower is that he has somehow able to convince everyone that he is the Trump that you have in your head.
That's very true. Very true.
Everyone thinks if you hate the Muslims and you're pro-Israel, Trump is gonna let Bibi Netanyahu go ham and do all of the kicking and smacking. If you're a Muslim that thinks that you need something, Trump's the peace candidate. He's gonna solve all of this. If you're like
that's a very good point.
It's just like this is something that like great despots have had in history, and even okay, not despots, sorry. Let's just say great politicians have it. So it doesn't matter what Trump has said everything. So what Trump thinks at this point is irrelevant. I think what we know is that Trump isn't too strong on any of his views, really, except for tariffs. Maybe he's pretty cool.
Yeah. He's pretty
strong on that. So we'll give him that.
A lot, for whatever reason,
which apparently will bankrupt America, but
they won't bankrupt America. Again, this is the problem, that like it'll bankrupt America. It won't bankrupt America.
Right.
America is...
I'm exaggerating.
No, but I know, but these are the things that like the left then says like, oh, this will create chaos, and then they'll say, well, what about this?
Yeah, true.
It didn't create any chaos.
I was using colorful language. Kill me, sue me, but I don't know. It's a pickle.
Tariffs will isolate America as a comment, and that I agree.
That's true.
That is 100% true.
Well, that's what he wants.
No, he doesn't want that. He's too dumb to realize the grand.
I thought he was like populist. America, get out of everything. Like, America is that's the world. Like, that's our world. He doesn't want to.
Well, that's the flavor of the season. I think like when he brings it up about China and stuff, there's a greater motive. So like everyone agrees with him. But like, dude, there is no way for long-term American stability that you put tariffs on Mexico and isolate that as a market. I don't know if any Americans are watching. I don't know if you realize this. Your manufacturing is dead. It's never coming back. Mexico is the only country that will develop this for you. So if you put tariffs on Mexico and isolate them, you will have your consumer goods are going to be so expensive and actually unavailable, because it's not even that like, oh, Americans make it at a higher rate. It's like you need to be this, and I'm talking in terms of like American geopolitics, realist strategy. You need Canada and Mexico on your side if you're going to take on the world. You really don't want to mess with them.
Yeah, it's a fair argument. It's a very fair call.
Mexico is U.S.'s manufacturing base. I don't understand. This is a great strength that you have. They're right next to you. You control their politics. They are educated enough to be able to
control their politics.
Well, who do you think controls Mexican politics?
Chavez. Or whoever's in.
dead. And
Well, yeah, whoever the prime minister
was
is.
from Venezuela.
Whoever the prime minister is.
Check Chavez.
Whoever he is.
Anyway, that's a different thing. Well, we can talk about
Yeah,
this.
well, yeah, all right, let's go on to the big issues then. Would you tap the Mexican president?
I don't know who she or he is.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know who the hell. But
Easiest
Bang.
question ever. Hey, okay, let's talk about something else. Have you guys heard of this new conspiracy?
that
So-
the internet is being clamped down on. By,
Okay, it concerns Luigi,
oh yeah,
the man who killed the CEO,
Have we not talked about that?
and Diddy. Yeah, because
Oh
it's
my
because everyone's spoken about it. Okay, so the thing is, Luigi's defense lawyer is married to Diddy's defense lawyer,
okay.
and they're saying that the whole Luigi thing is a smokescreen to distract people from Diddy's crime.
Hell yeah.
That's
what I'm talking about.
that is a stretch.
Real talk.
That is a stretch.
Is it?
Yes.
Or are you part of it?
If anything, it's inverted.
Why?
If anything, the Diddy is a smokescreen for that. And no further questions. No further questions.
I don't think we need further questions.
Dude, also, like,
You just got to have time to think on it.
if I like,
Think on it.
I see that you haven't taken the bait for the grand conspiracy for Diddy. But what about this? CEOs are fucking terrified
Why? Oh yeah, for sure.
because not only does one of them get killed, but there's a mass celebration for it.
Yeah.
And if anyone on the internet comes out and says, "Oh, I don't know if killing is the best,"
It's like shut up.
shut the
Yeah,
fuck
I know,
up.
I know,
You know,
They get their career ruined. I think Ben Shapiro's poor now.
And the chick from The View.
Oh, it's
I watched it. I was like, let's see their take.
Isn't cancel culture becoming really weird now?
Why?
I don't know. It's just like, yeah, you're
You're
getting
not-
cancelled for saying you probably shouldn't murder someone. Then everyone's just like, that's it. Get her off The View. No, we can't have these views on The View. It's too extreme. She's inhibiting my shape.
This is what happens in
So
like a
strange.
strange dystopic society.
did you guys see that CNN? There was a CNN interview. So well, it wasn't even an interview. So there's a CNN reporter just outside the prison where Luigi is incarcerated.
Go
And-
Louis.
Not just outside, like a big distance. So what's
Yeah.
happening is the CNN lady in the studio is asking questions. The inmates are watching it on TV, and the only way they can answer it is if they all together say the same thing so that it can be heard to the reporter who's like a couple of blocks away.
What?
So the CNN lady goes, is Luigi with the other inmates? And so the entire prison goes, no!
Why? That's not a good system. She could have gone inside.
Yeah, I don't know why it wasn't going. I just thought it was like ridiculous.
That's a dumb system.
And they were like, "Do you think Luigi should be freed?" Yeah.
To the prisoners.
The prisoners were saying he should be
Far
freed.
out. Yeah, well, what's your take on the whole thing?
What's my take on it?
Both ears.
Dude, I think it is a combination of things that I am very, very grateful that I do not live in America. Like everything about that is just like a thank Christ I don't live in this glorified third world shithole.
Yeah, because I think a lot of Australians don't realize how bad the U.S. medical system
No,
really
it's
is.
But it's
bad.
not just that;
Yeah,
it's
it's
also the
bad.
fact that you can just easily get a gun. It's
Yeah.
a combination.
He
of things. It's
3D
also
printed
just a
it.
thing of,
He
huh?
3D printed the gun, I
Yeah.
think.
Damn,
He printed that shit.
holy.
That's getting like Escape from New York style. It's like, you got to print me a gun. It's like, quickly, the fembots are coming or whatever. You know, it's like the giant
Yeah.
slugs are coming. It's like, zzz. There's no serial on this, right? No serial number. Of course not. You know,
I
like,
mean, it really does remind me of the. Did you guys ever see the movie Soylent Green?
yeah, yeah,
I think that was the sickest film I've ever seen. It was
pretty
really
brutal.
cool in '70s.
yeah.
But that's
But you got to admit, the
a
Soylent
big part of
Green
the plot.
looked good.
You thought that looked good?
Yeah, there's square blocks. I'm like, looks like taffy.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, Miss Love's insane.
Wow, that was incredible because I was sitting there saying, "Wow, what a terrible, terrible future. So little flavors." And that's me.
Yeah.
That's me. The only flavor I like is salt.
Yeah.
And even I was sitting there saying, "Man, is there some pepper or something in this world?"
I like things in block form.
Why?
I don't know. It's just futuristic.
Then why the hell don't you like steaks? Oh, okay.
I like
we gotta talk
steaks.
about it.
Oh, steak. Well, okay. Well, is that the end for Luigi?
Well, why?
No.
What have you got to say about
No,
it?
no,
But
no.
I'm pretty much just like looking at the whole Luigi situation, which might I add is crazy. I will say,
He's great. You didn't have to do it in the comments.
well, it's just it's a YouTube.
oh,
meme.
right.
This is the first time when
come on, Grant.
you're publicly being compelled to side with the murderer.
Yeah. You have to.
Otherwise
Add,
you get canceled.
I'm trying to get you to say
Cancelled.
you're glad he died. Go on.
I'm glad he died.
He didn't say that.
See, there we go.
It's jocular.
It's so weird. I'm telling you, this is so strange. Our whole podcast is us trying to censor ourselves on air stupidly. We don't have to do this live. There's no incentive for it. We don't get money for it. We just do it because we're idiots and are too lazy to not.
Yeah. To
And
stop.
the whole time it's just us not saying egregious things. Now it's just like, no, say it. Say you're glad he was murdered and it should have been more brutal. Say it. Oh my God, he didn't say it. Cancel. Like, that's what we're going to have to say Pantera to now. Yeah. It's so strange. But look, the whole point is, yeah, I get the sentiment, but I'm just like, it's just like such a good highlight. Oh, but that was my immediate thought when it happened. I was just like, thank fuck I don't live in that place.
Right.
There's just so many, like, there's so many elements to that that's just like only in America.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but only in America could you have a reality where you spend 20% of your GDP on health, and you still can't guarantee it to everyone.
That's a lot of money.
That's, dude. You know
How much do we spend?
Around 7%.
Yeah, but is it the population argument?
No, per capita, bro.
No, no, it's per capita.
Dang.
No, it's just like, dude, you really have to understand how geniusly designed Medicare is. It's honestly the best healthcare program in the
Or
world.
how
7%.
badly designed the U.S. healthcare system is.
They pay
Well, that's the contrast of the two.
And Obamacare was a huge help, right?
Massive.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude, of
yeah,
course.
yeah, yeah.
When you don't have health insurance and you're
Because
poor,
all it did was Obamacare was like, look, we're forcing you to negotiate some sort of healthcare for yourself, right?
No. Obamacare was that we will subsidize some of the cost of their healthcare plans.
Okay, sorry.
So
yeah.
your healthcare plan is cheaper
Yeah.
because the government is paying for part of it.
Yeah.
That's what Obamacare is. But
How crazy
it
is
still doesn't
how-
solve the issue that like you're paying way too much
Yeah.
for little. And the reason why they pay way too much compared to Australia is because they don't do collective bargaining for this stuff. When we decide to get some health facility, the Australian government will negotiate it for all of Australians because we have Medicare and we have got such a huge number of insurers. In the US, hospitals are doing it by themselves. So they get a way shitter price. So something that's worth $5,000 in Australia will be worth $20,000 in the US. The same exact thing.
But why?
Because instead of buying, okay, let's say we need 50,000 knee transplants every year in Australia, right?
Yeah.
Nailed it.
That thing that goes in your knees. Now, when Australia will buy it, they will say we want 50,000,
Yeah.
and the company that produces them will say, okay, then that's $500 per knee. We're like, okay, we'll do that. When the U.S. hospital, an individual hospital goes to them and says, okay, I need 50 knees. Okay, well then the cost is $1,500 because you're not using economies of scale.
They can charge whatever they want.
No.
Well, there's also
when
that.
you buy higher units of
Yeah,
something,
it's
the
cheaper.
price goes
Yeah,
down.
yeah.
So they're not using the higher units, even though they have 300 million people, which is way more than us. So they could really get the economies
Because the
of
hospital
scale.
can't afford to buy it more.
No, because the government says it's all deregulated. Everyone for themselves. If you want knees, go to the marketplace and get your own knees. Whereas the U.S. government, Australian government says, no, we'll negotiate all of them, and then we will give the hospital quotas of how much you need.
Yeah. It's just like there's just a need. There's just a better. There's like it's almost the government's almost like a parent being like, I'm buying it all up.
That
and
is
giving
why
it to all the
Bernie
hospitals.
Sanders has been asking for a single payer healthcare system, because single payer healthcare system will do that, which is that the government will give everyone insurance like Medicare, and then it has the ability to negotiate drug prices, different, all of this with the different vendors and try to get you the cheapest thing.
Yeah.
Drugs that cost $50 in Canada might cost something as ridiculous as $500 in the US.
But it sounds like predominantly it does come down to the pharmaceuticals greed, because the pharmaceuticals could charge exactly what they would charge here, hypothetically.
Yes, sir. And
but
they're
don't.
very happy with this system.
But I'm saying they don't. They're like they charge crazy.
Yeah, they're rorting the American public hard.
Yeah.
And the politicians.
And these aren't American companies necessarily either.
No, they are. Most of them are American companies. The same thing that we buy for cheaper is also from American companies. This is the irony.
Because we can go look. It's like literally, that's a good metaphor. Like buying a lot of shirts is cheaper than buying fucking individuals buying their own shirts.
Exactly.
Right.
And the US politicians are either too weak or too well fed by lobbyists to not do this. The irony is that 87% of American public
want it. Yeah.
87%.
Yeah.
The more deep south, the super red places, they wanted more because obviously they
They're
suffer
poor.
more from this.
Yeah.
And yet they're not doing it. It is a completely bipartisan thing.
So weird. Is it
Chomsky says this all the time. When the question was asked to the American public that should the United States Constitution say that healthcare should be mandatory for all citizens, the biggest response was they were surprised that it already isn't in the Constitution.
Fuck.
And yet it doesn't happen. So this isn't even like a question of like, oh, well, one party keeps sabotaging. Both parties are kind of bought and sold.
But when Obamacare was put forward, obviously the Republicans blocked it, right?
They blocked it for the reason that it's going to increase. Well, first of all, they didn't want to give Obama a win.
They opposed
That's
it.
one.
Yeah.
The second thing was that they said that this is going to inflate the amount of money that you spend on healthcare. So it's already 20%. If you put more, what are you going to do? At some point, we're going to spend, 100% of our money on healthcare? Their point was right in the sense that, like, this Obamacare was a patch-up thing. But you have to understand, for the person on the ground, it's a godsend. Okay, here's another thing. I don't know if the statistics are true, but I did see this, and maybe I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong. If you look at all the OECD countries, the amount of people that go bankrupt because of medical expense is close to zero, including Australia, right? That's not the reason why you go bankrupt. In the US, every year, 650,000 people go bankrupt because of medical bills.
Wait a sec, though. You said that Obamacare in America now, they pay 20%, right?
No, it's not like, I'm just saying that that's how much they're spending on GDP. What I'm saying is what Obamacare did was that, okay.
No, I get it, but how much... I'm saying, like, what percentage would the government have to spend for everyone to be covered, like in Australia? Do you know what I'm saying? We're 7%.
Well, I mean, it depends on, if you ask the Republicans, they'll say it'll be 50%. That's why it's unfeasible.
Yeah.
But I say, no, it's going to go down because you'll be able to collectively bargain.
And you'll
for
save money.
You'll save money. That's how we do it.
Collective
it's not a
bargaining.
miracle that we spend 7% on it. Our healthcare system is also pretty good.
You just got to think of the government as like a business. In a way.
Well, you just got to think of government as the final boss, and the healthcare companies, they don't make the final shots.
Isn't it crazy that, like, Trump's like, Obamacare's a disaster. And they're like, what's your plan? It's like, I have concepts of a plan.
Yeah. So good.
Because he dare not repeal Obamacare. The day he does it, he's booted.
Yeah, exactly. So
because there's close to 20 million people that depend on Obamacare.
So he's just not going to touch it.
Yeah, he's not going to touch it. Americans already have a Medicare. It just applies to, I think it's called Medicaid. Medicaid, I think it's called. It just applies to oldies and veterans, right?
Right.
So all you need to do is expand it to everyone.
The man's talking sense.
This is, by the way, also not something that is, everyone knows this, and everyone has known this since decades.
The only argument I hear is like, have you been to try to go to a hospital in Canada, a public hospital? You got to line up for like 4 hours. That's not a good system.
In the US?
Huh? In Canada.
In Canada.
Like, well, I'm sure Canada still has private hospitals.
They do.
No,
have
they do.
But like, I have heard this. I don't know the exact reasoning, but I have heard this, that Australian healthcare system is better than Canadian healthcare system.
Right, yeah.
But it's still, I think, Canadian, you'd still choose Canadian over the US one.
Yeah. I don't think the argument for fixing a system that is bloated to cut it.
Yeah.
Maybe, add more into it or something. Don't just cut it.
And so in effect, what happens in effect is that if you have a job, right, you're fine.
Because
You've
your
got the
company,
insurance
because your company,
Because the insurance company, here's the other sinister thing. When the insurance, so let's say you're a patient, right? You're working with, you have an insurance, you have a job, every job gives you health insurance.
what's my job?
Well, whatever job it is, a job will give you health insurance.
But what
when
is
you
it?
go to a hospital, the same
wanna know
hospital, when you go to a hospital, you will get charged lower
Yeah.
than someone who doesn't have insurance and goes to the same exact hospital.
Yeah.
For the same reason. The insurance companies, because they have a bunch of people that are using their insurance, they get to negotiate better deals for them.
Because
Whereas-
of the company. Because of the
because
company. Yeah.
But an individual,
Yeah.
because so by default, if you don't have insurance and you fall sick, you must be. It would be godsend if you were a homeless person and a crack addict. Because what would happen if you're a homeless person or a crack addict is that you go to the hospital. There's no way you could ever pay the bill.
Yeah.
The bill will be like hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
So you're not going to. You're just going to go back on the street.
Yeah.
And the taxpayer will eventually have to pick up the cost. If you're a lower middle class person, God forbid, who isn't a crackhead, who still wants to follow laws, and you go to the hospital, you'll be bankrupted. Because you either have to become the crack addict, which is like, I don't care about your calls, I don't care what I'm owed, I'm not paying any of this. But if you're a normal, law-abiding citizen who wants to pay their debts, there's no way you can pay that amount of money.
If you're unemployed.
If you're unemployed, or let's say
Yeah.
you're lowly employed, that doesn't give you
But the
health
homeless guy
insurance.
doesn't get bailed out. He's just going to die.
No, for emergencies, he
That's
will get
right.
because you're
He
legally
will
required to.
Oh, so you are actually legally
Yeah,
required. I didn't know that.
They might not get long term,
But they'll save them.
But they'll save them, and then they'll be back on the street.
How's that covered? Who covers that?
The taxpayer covers it.
Like Obamacare.
The hospital will file it as a bad debt,
yeah.
and which will go to the government, and the government will give them money back.
Money. Holy shit. So in America, it's like you're better off being completely broke or rich, not
Yeah.
the middle, really.
You're
Yep,
screwed if you're in
exactly.
the middle.
How are there so many rappers and successful musicians and entrepreneurs and all these people that are just like, I'm living my best life and don't give a shit about responsibility, and they're just basically celebrities in America then? Wouldn't it just be a perpetually scared, terrified people? It seems like
is.
everyone... It's not, though. They're all Americans are I got $20 in my bank, but I'm killing it. And I'm there's so many...
Really? Didn't you see it anytime you went to see some low management, I don't know, at a restaurant, anyone in an Uber or something? There's a level of desperation there that just doesn't exist in Australia.
My family member, I visited my family member in Texas, and he was a bit like that. He was just I'm going to keep my job. But he was the only one I saw.
Man, I didn't talk to them about how do you feel about your job security, but dude, you can tell that they're really scared of getting fired.
I didn't see that at all. I wasn't in the corporate fucking environment, but America to me seems to have this blasé, I don't know, we're going to make it. They don't seem scared, but maybe that was
Because here's the thing, because of the problem that there isn't universal health care, every job, unless it's one of those jobs that you're being exploited in, every job will offer you health insurance as a rule.
Yeah.
So if you're employed, which let's be real, most people are, you will have health insurance.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah,
too
but if
much.
you're fired,
But if you're let's say working in the arts or something,
Yeah.
or if you're fired,
Yeah.
you got fired, and then you got diagnosed, you're screwed.
right. Maybe,
Booms,
I guess
booms,
I just
booms,
look. Who would have thought that Hollywood movies portray America in this Hollywood-esque light?
This is they do have some of the best hospitals in the world. If you're rich, I wonder if any country will give you better care than the US will.
And is that because of that system?
Yeah.
But I mean,
Why?
Because they
It's
can afford
arguable.
to get the best doctors in the world, and they can get the best equipment and the best
And
Who can
surgeons.
afford it? The hospitals can't.
Not the hospitals, the insurers.
the insurance.
Oh, because they're loaded. They're all right, well, the best will be for the best.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, look, because they're still businesses and they need to compete with other businesses.
So they're
they need to offer, if you're offering top of the line service, you have to compete with other companies
Sure.
offering top of the line service.
Gotcha.
So they have the most, and let's be real, America is a very enterprising place in general, not just healthcare and other stuff too. So some of the most cutting edge technology,
Yeah.
you're more likely, in some cases, even in Australia, in some cases where you have some disease which is really rare, a lot of the times you're suggested to go to the US.
Yeah.
Or Mexico.
Bullshit.
Depending on whether or not it's experimental. Shit.
I wasn't
yeah.
talking about tits.
But irrelevant of that, yeah. I'm sure, you look at the stats, there would be a millions of people that would just be like, I'm so scared to lose my job. I'm sure that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That fear is very, very real. Particularly if you're sick, you do not want to lose your job.
Can you imagine some guy who's like, you know, I don't know, 60 or maybe even 100K a year, and he's like sitting, much like the Simpsons joke where like he's shaking and the pencil falls, and it's like, detention.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? He's just like, can't make your arm move, and the pencil falls, and the boss just like, come into my office, Bob. He's like, you violated that pencil, didn't you? It's like, no, I didn't do anything. It's like, you're fired.
Yeah.
So this guy killed this guy because he was like, he's one of these people that would just absolutely. I mean, I read about it. He was like denying people, and he made some AI that was like, you've been denied.
It's
right?
not just them. It's like the other curse is, okay, so now like you're retired, right? Or you are unemployed because you can't work. You'll have a insurance, which is going to be cheap because you can't afford the top insurance. And they have this thing of like pre-existing conditions. So a lot of the times you will get sick thinking you have insurance. So you've been paying insurance for years and you haven't needed it, and you have this peace of mind. And then all of a sudden you get sick and you file a claim with your insurance, and your insurance says, sorry, this was a pre-existing condition.
Shit.
This was something that was from before. It doesn't cover your policy, doesn't cover it.
God.
And that's when all this is like, you guys are cunts. Like,
What was the thing he had on his thing? It was like, deny. Was that what the company says? It's like, deny, disavow.
well, it's not something the company says. It's something that like activists say to the companies.
What is it?
that
It's
do
like,
it's deny something, like just basically don't approve their claim is the
yeah.
essence of.
Yeah, okay, I'm convinced America's pretty fucking brutal.
It is, man, and like we
How
joke
do-
about like obviously killing someone is definitely not a solution, but like at some point when your entire political class is bought and sold,
Yeah.
what the hell are you supposed to do?
How do undocumented people survive?
Dude, they're afraid. They don't go to the hospital, and if they do, maybe a hospital will treat them for legal reasons, and then the taxpayer will pay for it.
Seems like a good loophole.
Yeah, not bad.
How poor do you have to be? You probably have to show bank statements and be like, I can't afford this.
No, you have to be you have to be like basically not care about what the authorities are saying, because the hospital is going to pester you. You have to pay. They'll put you on a plan and you won't pay. Then maybe like they'll report it to some other debt company that will keep hassling you. Your life will be miserable. So if you're a normal person that's not rich, but
Yeah, you don't want- you don't- yeah.
you're not an outlaw, you're not a crackhead, you're just a
Yeah.
poor person. You get scared and you go bankrupt and you try to pay as much as possible. You probably can never even pay.
Yeah.
But if you're like a fucking homeless person, you don't care. You're like, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
What else? I'm already I'm on parole for this thing too. Like you
Yeah.
don't scare me. So for them, it doesn't matter.
I have a mate that will go unnamed who's like being hounded by debt collectors, but it's like phone companies, credit card companies, and it's like he just ignores them.
Yeah, you can do that.
You can do that.
That is a move. He's living proof of it. Yeah. Good on him.
I don't know about good on him.
Our own anonymous Luigi in China, sticking it to the man.
By the way,
living in a
Evil
mansion.
insurers.
if you don't care about this,
That's not
Just
it.
sticking it to the man.
if you don't care about this, here's another thing that here's another thing that you technically don't have to pay. By the way,
What?
if you follow the same thing, you don't have to pay for tolls.
Shouldn't have told me that.
Yeah, you really shouldn't have told me something.
You
Because he
should
already doesn't pay for tolls.
Not.
Because I'll tell you
told
what's going to happen.
me that.
They don't even report it to the cops. They're going to give it to a debt collector.
Exactly. And then,
And
they
then
just
the
call
debt
you.
collector will call you.
They just
And
call you.
if you stop answering their calls,
Yeah. You know,
Clean slate.
You know, it's really
if it
funny.
doesn't go on your record,
Really? Okay. Well, life got a lot easier for me. I'll tell you.
Don't do it.
No, I won't. I feel guilty, but I'll tell you a funny. It's too much work. That's the thing. Being like poor. All of these things are harder than just working. They're actually way harder with less less results.
Being a bum is a full-time
It's a full-time job, and the rewards are shit. I'll tell you a funny anecdote. I'll tell you the anecdote really quickly. It's just like 2 seconds. But like this said person, he had a debt collector calling, and let's say the person is called like Jess or something, like hypothetically, and then apparently the person calling was like, blah, 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 talking, was like, you know, blah, 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 talking to him was like, your name is Bess, blah, 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 right? And it's like, sorry? And it's like, Bess? And it's like, I'm not familiar with that name. Please don't go back here, because technically he pronounced it wrong.
So he thought he found a legal loophole.
Isn't that a legal loophole?
No, I don't think so. I think he still owes the money. I don't think it's just like, sorry, you mispronounced the first letter of my name. Therefore, in the Smithton versus Smithton of 1855, I am absolved of all my debts. In fact, you owe me money. I'm the new Caesar.
I'll be damned. You owe me 2 flapjacks and a nice winter coat. It says here on Smithton
And
versus.
an apology.
All right, I added the apology, but I think it's only fair.
Final
Caused me
segment.
grievous mental harm.
Tales of Rockhampton.
Tales of Rockhampton.
You heard about Mackay last week.
Yeah, that was
You
great.
got to hear about Rockhampton as well.
Wish I went to Mackay.
Man, that sounded fun.
Rockhampton. Look, if you're from there,
Pardon me.
you know, I'm sure you love it. You know, I love Pakistan. You know, you can love anything.
So good. What a review of Pakistan. The guy that spent all of the uplate trying to convince us to go there.
Yeah, true.
This is what I'm worried
It's
about.
good for a holiday, dude. Not good for living there. But wait,
Not even good for them.
but Rockhampton is a fucking piece of shit, dude. It is. I feel so unpatriotic. I feel guilty because when I went there, you know, the Aussie mindset is you should be able to go to any place. If it's the bush, you go there, you work hard, you build a community. That's the Aussie way. It's not all Harbour Bridge, mate.
Fuck, he's really good at the accent now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's getting good.
You're like, that's flawless, dude.
Yeah.
But, and I felt so unpatriotic because I was like, dude, take me back to Sydney. It was so hard.
Hey, Ali, I'll give you a little tip. That's a lot of Australia.
I know.
my-
But I felt guilty, but not guilty enough not to talk about it on the pod.
Nah. Yeah.
It felt like being in a third world country. It was
that bad.
so hot. First of all, I think there was just that. It was just extreme. It was raining and it was still hot. So while, and not even just a little bit, like full on rain.
Pelting.
And there's a breeze that comes to you and it's hot breeze while it's raining.
Yep.
And it was,
And on top of that, it's just hot.
Yeah,
So there's
yeah.
hot winds hitting you, and it's just a sauna, and it's raining, and the rain is cold. It's a weird sensation.
it's weird. Like you don't even.
It is weird.
Yeah. You don't like getting the rain.
Yeah.
You think it'll be a reprieve. It's not.
And then everything over there is just like, it's just a bunch of fast food places. Like that's all that there is. Everything. Okay, so Rockhampton, as you're aware of, is supposed to be the beef capital of Australia.
Beef.
Jordan warned me. Jordan said, look,
Yeah.
I can tell you, I can assure you, that
Yeah.
beef is getting exported. There's no good beef in Rockhampton. I was like, dude, there's got to be a
some.
place. He probably had some shit beef. So what I do
I,
is,
by the way, had the exact same thought and experience when I went with him. I was like, we're getting steak.
so I went on Google and I typed best steakhouse in Rockhampton. Don't care about money.
Yeah.
Best
Price
steakhouse
is
in
not
Rock-
an issue.
I go to a TripAdvisor, right?
Yeah.
TripAdvisor, it has like
Full
10
stars.
top 10 places.
Uh-huh.
I go number 1, baby. We'll go to number 1.
Yep.
It was called a place called Stone Grill Steakhouse.
Before you go on, did we not go to a place in Queensland with a stone thing? Or was that not Rockhampton?
No. That was Toowoomba, and that was awesome.
Continue. That was a Toowoomba. And yes, it was okay. Yeah.
So Jordan is like not willing. Jordan is like, dude, let's not go to a steakhouse. We just landed. We didn't have a lot of time in between the shows, and I was like, Jordan, come on, let's do it.
Yeah.
We've got to go. We're in the beef capital of fucking Australia. We
Yeah.
have to have steak.
Yeah.
And Jordan's like, all right, fine. So he's dragging his feet, right? And he's like, okay, can we wait a couple of hours? I was like, no, the place closes at 7. It's just
Yeah.
like everything else.
Close at 7. It's like 3 hours more than the post office, and it's a restaurant. This is the
That's
best
dinner
steakhouse.
time. That's
Dinner time.
Fuck.
So I type it on Google navigation, right? I type on Google Maps, Stone Grill, and it says like, okay, we're driving. It's 15 minutes away. So we're driving, and you know, it's like we're just commenting on stuff. We see like a place that seemed proper, but it turned out it was a discount bulk booze warehouse.
Nice.
Oh yeah, Bill's bulk booze.
Yeah, Bill's
And it
bulk
was
booze.
everywhere. That was the McDonald's of Rockhampton.
Sick.
And this pizza place that I'm really annoyed that we didn't go to.
Yeah,
You know
Roscoe,
why?
which we should have.
It was called Urukos.
Okay.
Okay,
That
so-
checks out. That checks out.
So we get close to this steakhouse, right?
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, the map says that it's here, but like all I see is like this fucking weed. How would you describe the place, Jordan?
It looked like a pub that had been abandoned. It was like light sky blue, but it obviously hadn't been painted in like 20 years. So it was chipping everywhere.
Yeah.
I like that look.
I mean, yeah, it's a nice look.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not exactly an inviting look.
Sure.
When you're advertised as like
The
premium
best.
steaks of Rockhampton.
Yeah.
Like you already thought that you're going to go in there and it's just like steak. I mean Vegemite and toast. And you're getting one. Otherwise, you're getting shanked. Those are your options.
It's steak policy. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think so we're right in front of it, and I go like, Jordan, I think sorry man, I genuinely felt this way. I was like, sorry, I think I put in the wrong address. this can't be it. We're going to a steakhouse. So I park the car and I go like, okay, and I'm looking at it, I was like, fuck, I think, and I'm worried like maybe it's on the other side. I don't know where I am, just idiot. Wasting time. And then I go like, no, this is supposed to be this place. But it didn't even say Stone Grill Steakhouse. It said Ascot Hotel or something.
Oh, God.
And so we're like,
Not good.
oh, okay, let's check it out. So we go in, and it's like, there is a steakhouse. As soon as we enter, this is steakhouse on the right. We go in, and dude, okay, so it's hot. It's so hot, and this place is muggy. There's one
Air
other
conditioner.
patron over there, and they're sitting in the corner,
Bob
and they're just
Catter.
like, typical Bobcat is just a
I love
bunch
this
of
place.
very little genetic
Eat up,
diversity.
boys.
I'll just say all of Rockhampton, very little genetic diversity.
Oh, I'm sure.
That's all I'll say about that.
No problems there.
And so we go in, and I was like, okay, look, it's hot, it's muggy, but I'm hungry.
Yeah.
We need to have we'll have steak. So we look at the menu, and there's like a few options. There was like ribeye steak or Scotch steak, and I think Jordan chose Scotch, and I chose ribeye. Right.
Right. Both choice cuts, if I may say so.
Oh, there was nothing but there.
So so Jordan says, "Can I have my steak well done?" And they go like, "Oh no, that's not how this works here.
What?
We cook your steak on volcanic ash. It
Yeah.
makes it taste
Oh,
amazing."
volcanic.
Yeah, and we're like, okay, sounds good. And so they're like, we're gonna bring it out in front of you, and it'll cook in front of you, and then you choose how, like, if you want it well done, whatever.
Is
I'm
every
like,
steak place in Queensland come on a fucking hot stone? That was
think so.
What?
so I'm like, okay, that
Australian
sounds.
BBQ.
So my hopes are up now. So I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, this sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes. All right, so they come out. First of all, I order mine with salad. He orders it with veggies. It's important. So the steaks come out. First of all, he chose Scotch. I chose ribeye. It was the same fucking cut of meat. And it was completely raw on this hot stone.
Sure.
The problem is the stone wasn't that hot.
Yeah.
So like it wasn't cooking it.
Yeah.
It just like the steak should have a sear, right?
But was it one of those steaks that was like so good you eat it raw?
Oh my god, dude. Okay, so here's the thing. This had no marbleization. It was just a tendon-filled piece of
Yeah,
meat,
okay.
and it wasn't cooked. And like you tried to keep it on the stone, but it would just make the surface gray.
Okay.
It wouldn't cook it at all.
Oh, that's bad.
And
That's
now at this
bad.
point, I'm getting angry, right? And Jordan, on the other hand, goes like, dude, this was great. This
Yeah.
was a great idea. And I was like, Jordan, what do you mean? He's like,
That checks
well,
out.
I like everything ironically. So
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is so shit that
Yeah.
I'm actually glad we came here.
Yeah.
And I'm getting like even more upset. I'm like, this guy's a fucking moron.
Alternate universe.
What is going on here? And then like,
It's the multiverse. That's what he's in the multiverse.
so now I start looking at. So then I was like, okay, look, beef capital of Australia. It's not cooked, but I've had raw beef before.
I love raw beef.
Raw beef can be really good.
Tartare's amazing.
Exactly, the Lebanese stuff. It's all.
I wasn't talking about that one, but French.
Yeah, French too. It's the same shit.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, dude, I try to cut in it, and it's the toughest meat, raw, mind you.
Wow.
Dude, that's
Beef gets tough when you cook it, right? This is raw, and you can't
Oh,
go through it.
God.
It's just cutting tendons.
oh god.
And Jordan's just like, he's like, yo, this is great. I'm so happy about this. And I was
yeah.
like,
You ate it raw. You were happy with that?
No. I toughed it out.
Oh, okay.
I waited for it to be grilled.
Oh, gotcha. Yep.
it wasn't grilled. It was
Yeah.
steamed at best.
Oh
Yeah, it
no.
was steamed. You know that kind of meat cut?
Yeah,
You
that's-
know when it's just like a really...
That's grey.
How
Grey.
I described it. You know what it was? And
Yeah.
then it's just like, it was like, and it's of course served with seasoned vegetables. And then you look at the seasoned vegetables. And it's
Potato.
like, I wish this was frozen McCain's vegetables.
Which, by the way, was a great idea of you to get those veggies because I got the salad.
I would have gotten the salad.
And yeah, but you shouldn't have, and you'll find out why. So now I'm like pissed off.
Yeah.
I'm angry at this.
Yeah.
How is this the best steakhouse? So I started Googling, right?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is Rockhampton?
Yeah.
First of all, this is the one cool thing. This is the one only cool thing. Rockhampton is called Rocky by the locals, and I like that name. So that was awesome.
Okay.
But other than that, everything's bad.
So it's a small win.
Yeah.
Small win. So I start Googling what the hell is Rocky's economy?
yeah.
And I find out the reason why it's called the beef capital of Australia is because it has the 2 largest abattoirs in the country. They kill about 15,000 cows a day, which is a record in Australia. But these are dedicatedly export abattoirs. So all the meat gets sent over to Asia and the US. So Rockhampton gets none of it. So no wonder the meat sucks because they're getting it from their nearest IGA.
It's such a-
They're just sourcing it.
It's such a fucked, like, ultra capitalist, also very Aussie thing. It's like, I was just saying this because he gave me the short version of this in the car, and I just have to say that is the most Aussie sort of like, yeah, we'll send it off. It's like, sweet. Can you not keep a single restaurant? It'll help your tourism. So you'll get more money if you keep one restaurant that, like, one cow every 4 months can go into one restaurant. It'll help you guys. Nah, we'll make more sending it off. You can't lose $2,000. You'll probably make more money. Nah, it's more effort.
Which, by the way,
export only.
It's so It's so Aussie. You know why they probably do it? They're like, that's the way it's always been. Could you change it? No.
so this is
I don't even think it's Aussie. I think it's Japanese and American. Don't you think? It's just completely denied.
Yeah, I guess
I'm
so.
sorry, this is a business.
Yeah, but fuck. So I feel your pain. It's
so,
just like,
so I'm cutting it. So this is what's happening. I cut it, I put it in my mouth, and then I take it out of my mouth and put it in the corner. I put it because it's so tough. I can't swallow it.
God.
So I'm putting it, right? So I'm just like chewing steak, sucking some of the beef, and leaving the rest.
Yeah.
But I'm still hungry. So I go, okay, I'm just going to,
salad.
I'll eat the salad, right? And so I'm eating the salad, and I feel something off about the salad, but I was like, look, I'm hungry. I need something. So I eat, like, I couldn't even finish it because there was something off. I get home, full-on food poisoning.
no.
I think it's from the salad because it couldn't have been because he didn't get it.
Yeah, I didn't get it.
And we
No,
had the
it's
same
vegetables.
steak, even though we ordered different
Can't get
steaks.
food poisoning. How do you get it from a salad?
Nah, that's a good place.
You know
to get
why?
it.
I thought about it.
Bacteria.
I thought about it.
Water.
It's so bloody hot there, dude. That it's the salad was probably lying in the kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
The dude that was serving us, he didn't seem like a guy that cared about standards and hygiene.
Not a great chef.
So I think there was bacteria in the freaking salad.
Good boy. Good old boy.
That sucks, dude. That really, really sucks. That is so disappointing
You know what it was? You
and
know what it was?
lame.
I summed it up like this.
That's as bad as your imaginary house in the mountains. That's how bad that is.
Totally. Yeah, I summed it up like this, Charlie. You know what that food was?
Oh,
Dad's cooking tonight. That was my entire childhood. So I liked it.
Yeah,
It was
he was-
definitely worth $50 to have a steak
It was
in front of my dad. being like,
$50?
Here you go, mate. Well done. Why is there so much water around it? I don't know. That's just what happens on the electric fryer. Anyway, there's really no difference between me cooking this and bacon and eggs in the morning. You're going to wash the pan? Hell no. That's what it was.
dude, that is. I'm not letting this go. In the comments, what is happening in Rockhampton?
No. Also, start this little debate. Yeah, what's happening in Rockhampton? But also start this little debate between you, because I was having this argument with Arlo. It wasn't even having an argument. I was illuminated. I was saying, dude, I think this whole parent thing of, leftovers taste better the next day is a complete con. I think I just believed it because my dad said it.
I can
But,
answer that. I can answer
honestly,
that.
spaghetti bolognese is not better the second day. It's better the first day.
No, I have a
come
strong
on.
take. I have a strong take.
And
on
I was
that.
telling Jordan, it's like, food always tastes better when it's fresh.
Fresh, of course
What
it
are you
does.
talking
No, some things do taste better the next day.
Very, very, very specific.
I'd say
things.
50% of foods taste
Oh,
better the next day.
You
You're
honestly
out of
think
your
that the
mind,
spaghetti
dude.
tastes better?
Yeah, because sometimes gestate, they simmer, you know? Yeah, I'd say maybe, okay, fine, 30% of foods taste better the next day. 30.
Dude, I swear the spaghetti tastes just old.
Asian doesn't taste better the next day. You should have that fresh, but like stews and soups and marinated meats, that's better the next
That's
day.
just like all that's happened is it's starting to decompose. That's it.
No, I
and
disagree.
You like that taste?
Yeah, marination, sure, because it's not yet
Come on,
cooked.
dude. Like most foods that you do like are basically just mummies.
Well, look,
You're just eating
I
mummies.
do have a penchant for like preserved foods, which literally they don't really change. They don't change that
Like,
much.
for me, it's like the less flavor, the better. But for you, honestly, it is the less nutrition, the better.
No, that's not
really
true.
throw that.
No. What's that shit called? Kimchi is very healthy.
Yeah.
I love kimchi. That's a
That's fine.
fermented
yeah,
food.
but that's a
That's
pickle.
sauerkraut. That's
There's no way sauerkraut's good for you. I call BS.
Google it.
Yeah, I'm sure that if you look up like the Sauerkraut Food Council of
I didn't say to
Australia-
do that. Just it's good for you. It's a
Oh, shit, the
probiotic.
German.
It's a probiotic. It's good for you.
Probiotic, my ass. It's always they always use this phrase every time that it's a probiotic. It's a probiotic.
Right, so
Every
that's
time.
a conspiracy.
Everything-
That's a
it's just-
conspiracy.
It reminds me a lot of Cocoa
Hey.
Pops when they said it's got vitamins and minerals in it. It's like, yes, I'm sure
It's
it does.
nothing like that.
I swear it is.
Cocoa Pops is a food that is dyed and was invented in the fucking 40s. Sauerkraut's been eaten for thousands of years, and it's like not anything. It couldn't be further from that kind of food.
I know it's not further, but the same advertising gimmick of what's the one thing that's good about it? Okay, we'll just talk about that.
No, I like the taste of it.
No, I'm talking about this health benefit nonsense.
It's okay.
Surely there's better ways to get probiotics, such as Yakult. Possibility of more
Yakult is full of sugar. It's crap.
and probiotics.
Yeah, some.
See, that's what I'm saying though. You just advertise the probiotic part. But I swear, like when you look at sauerkraut, what is it? It's just like it's rotting cabbage. Okay.
no
Oh, and
fermented.
also alcohols as well.
Fermenting isn't rotting. It's just a process. It's not rotting.
It is rotting. It's just that
so
the
that's-
rotting
changing.
changing.
Council
It's
got to use
changing.
it, have
It's the end. It's changing the food, but it's not rotting.
Well, sometimes it can create good bacteria, which is good
yeah.
for you.
Well, okay,
But-
fine. Maybe it is a form of rotting. Whatever.
But it's not, just as a general rule, and for those of you out there, someone just said KFC always tastes better cold. Look, here's the thing, dude.
That's wrong.
Stop
That's
it.
wrong.
Stop it.
Don't
Fast
do that,
food.
please.
Fast food, no. Asian food, I would say generally no.
Stop eating cold KFC.
They call it
please.
fast food not because it comes fast, it's because
Yeah.
you're supposed to eat
That's
it fast.
dangerous. That don't even. You'll get his food poisoning if you do that.
Yeah,
So,
it's just as a
Like
general
you're
rule,
naughty
fresh
boy.
is always better.
I call bullshit, and I think I win on purely the fact that I've dedicated my life to food, and you, sir, don't know a damn thing about it.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah,
Maybe. But come on. It does sound like a gimmick.
it does, but like I think it's somewhat true. It's not a transformative
I'll tell you
thing.
something that I am very much into now, though.
someone,
butcher.
someone said,
Oh.
so wine is rotting, Ali? No, Mrs. Correct. First of all, wine is rotting and it is not good for you.
Not true.
It is poison.
That's not true. A little bit of red wine a day is good. Amino acids.
That's what they like. This is
super.
another one of those things that doctors will say that, and then other doctors will say it won't. It's just you go into an
Some
English,
some
that's
people
a
even
red
say
flag.
a little bit of smoking is good for you.
No, that's
They
not.
say it activates your immune system. Look, here's the thing: alcohol is
In-
not good for you. You can have it. Like there's nothing like no.
too
But
much.
like,
like,
you should
more
know
than
that
it's
it's
more-
not
really weird.
good
Isn't it
for you.
strange that there's some foods and some drugs that people will defend to the hilt as being healthy, but then it comes to other foods like KFC, like Cocoa Pops, and everyone goes, "Nah, there's not a chance."
No, it's not funny. That's like the most unfunny thing in the world. It's
okay.
It's the most unremarkable
Thanks.
thing in the
It's
world
another-
too.
The Merrick pod was over.
Dude, I'm sorry, but like this is a load of shit. Like they're completely different universes in like how they're made and the process and who makes them and everything. You know what I mean? Greeks drink a small cup of red wine with their food twice a day, and they live the most out of anyone. Them and the Japanese like it's
Yeah,
like,
so you can have
Yeah, a little
Dude,
bit.
the oldest woman that ever lived used to smoke a pack of cigarettes
no,
a day.
that's an anecdotal change.
No, what I'm saying
That's an
is
anecdotal.
you can moderately have poison and not die from it.
maybe, or a little bit of wine's good for you because the
Either or.
antioxidants.
Either way.
So
okay.
look,
Anyway, I think we're over time.
we are, but
Yeah.
But Miss Love is just warm.
you just want a reality
make sure that-
where everyone's eating Cocoa Pops and it's just like, you know, being like, let's go to what's that shithole called? Rashays. That's his reality. Just like, you want the fucking fucked,
want that.
yeah, you want the fucked fish or the fush beef.
All that sounds
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight.
I'm a fan of
Next
everything.
Tuesday night, when we record the podcast, is going to be Christmas Eve. So we might not be doing next week's podcast. However, if you want to listen to us during the festive season,
Up late.
become a patron
Up
and
late, yeah,
access the
dogs.
uplates because they will be constant.
They won't be stopping.
They won't be stopping. No, no, ma'am, no, sir. So make sure you become a Friendly Jordy's podcast patron to access it. Otherwise, we might see you before the New Year's. We might not. We'll see how it goes.
See how it
Because
goes.
Jordan, it doesn't matter. Jordan may go overseas. Miss Love is probably gonna be like doing stuff on New Year's Eve. So we'll see.
Join up, come on. Like, we're basically a charity at this point. If you're thinking, I can put it this way: if you were thinking of giving to the Red Cross, maybe some local homeless shelters, give it to us
You're
instead.
doing it right there. You cut out the middleman
No,
and give it to the man _999 at hotmail.com.
don't give them my fucking.
Oh wait, you're still using it. Fuck, sorry. Yeah. All right, we get out of here. We get out of here.
We'll see you guys next week.